Guys, I want to talk Harry Maguire with you. Ten Hag's sure praise adds to Maguire misery is a headline on the back of the Mail. Harry Maguire's future at Old Trafford is in further jeopardy after Luke Shaw's emergence as a centre-back. So we know that last two games he's played centre-back. Man United have won. Luke Shaw's played very, very well. Harry Maguire on the bench. And Erik Ten Hag very complimentary about the role that Luke Shaw has played at centre-back. What happens here, Dean, are we getting to a stage now where it's clear and obvious that Erik Ten Hag does not fancy Harry Maguire, and it's in everyone's best interests if he can maybe find a move away in January?
Yeah, I'm trying to work out whether Ten Hag's really, really clever or he's just oblivious to what he's doing to players. And that includes the situation with Ronaldo. If you've got him, he's like a stick of dynamite on your hands. If you don't handle him properly, that's what happens. What happened?
You don't think he handled him properly?
70% Ronaldo, 30% Ten Hag for letting it get to that stage. Because you've got to talk to him behind the scenes and tell him exactly what you're going to do with him.
How do you know he didn't?
Because they had a meeting. They've obviously had a meeting. Ronaldo's thinking of leaving in the summer. United are not in the Champions League. So he's had a meeting with Ten Hag, and the next day they both come out of the room happy. So what the conversation would have gone, I'm not going to stay here if you're not going to play me. I need to play. All I care about is playing football. He must have said to him, you're going to play. Am I going to? And then he'd say, am I going to play in the big games? He'd say, you're not going to play every week, but you're going to play. So then when he gets taken off and he can't accept it because he's spoiled, it goes pear-shaped. So I don't know.
Fault, though. That's Ronaldo's
70% Ronaldo, 30% the manager for letting it get to that stage.
I'm not
right?
sure what Ten Hag was supposed to do there, Tino.
Well, no, but you've got to remember, when you're dealing with a player like Ronaldo, he's not the same as everybody else. He scored 844 goals. Don't care what you say, you have to either get him on his own and you've got to treat him a little bit differently.
If he's not the best player on the pitch anymore.
Well, he wasn't the best. He's still, for me, if I'm Ronaldo, I'm looking on the pitch, I'm thinking, I'm better than Elanga, I'm better than Martial now, and I'm still not playing. He's playing everybody in front of me. I'm better than Rashford at the time, and he wasn't playing him. So he's getting the hump. Gradually, it was simmering, and eventually. So I'm giving 70% Ronaldo, because he's bang out of order for what he done, and 30% Ten Hag.
Okay.
But has Ten Hag done it on purpose to get him out? That's really clever.
Very clever. It's
right.
worked.
And now, with Luke Shaw playing at left side centre-back, has he played Luke Shaw on purpose, or was Harry Maguire just recovering from an illness? And Luke played well, so he put him back in again, and he's played really well again. But I think if I was Harry Maguire, I would be saying the manager's making it plain and obvious to get out the club.
I think when you go up against a big, strong, physical centre-forward in Diego Costa, and he opts to pick a pretty small left-back to go up against him rather than you, surely, Woodsy, that's where now, if you're Harry Maguire, you've got to be thinking, I need to be playing football, and I just think he deserves a new chapter, doesn't he? Just a new team, a fresh start, because he's had it tough, hasn't he, over the past couple of years?
I think sometimes when there's a massive difference between whether or not you're even starting or involved in your club in the Premier League versus when you go and play for your country and you're the number one centre-back, there's obviously something not right there. In terms of Harry Maguire and his progression and his future in football, a fresh start probably sounds like a good thing. It sounds like maybe he does need to get away because he's going to want to be involved in the next tournament, and it will be Gareth, we know that, but what happens if he gets no game time? Then there has to come a point where Gareth says, well, he hasn't played for a couple of months, so I can't actually start him because he's not going to be fresh and sharp enough at international level. So for Harry, and for that player that he clearly still is, because we saw it at the World Cup.
And he had a good World Cup.
Maybe a move is the right thing.
If you're trying to get a player out the club as a manager, there's a few ways of doing it. You call him in and look him in the eye and say, you're never going to play for this football club ever again. You might as well leave. The player has got signing-on fees due. If he asks for a transfer, he loses all his signing-on fees. So the player's not going to ask for a transfer. He's going to just wait until to see what you do. So then another one, which you can do, you've got a striker sitting on the bench and you bring a centre-back on instead of him when you need a goal. Or you bring a player on who's never scored a goal ever for the club instead of him and leave him sitting on the bench. Then he's got the message. And I think that's what he's done with Harry Maguire.
If he was to move on, what sort of club do you think would be looking for Harry Maguire? Do you think he can go into a top 4 team, a European team, or is he going to have to drop even lower?
He's better than what Spurs have got.
So do you think he'd go into that Spurs team and improve Spurs?
Straight away, if he was at Spurs, he'd be in the team tomorrow.
Yeah, okay.
Scott is a United fan. He says, here we go again. Harry Maguire Appreciation Club. Simply, he is not good enough to play for Manchester United. End of conversation. Happy to discuss this with you in more detail. A non-story says, come on then, Scott. Come on. I don't know if anyone's sitting here saying Harry Maguire should be starting for Manchester United. I don't think anyone said that, did they?
No, I think Varane and Martinez were very, very impressive this season. No, I think they did a really, really good job.
It's a combination of everything, Sam, for me. He's changed the whole team. Right, if you think about it, near enough. The goalkeeper's the same keeper. Varane and Martinez are now the centre-backs. Lindelof out, Maguire out. They've gone. Barley out. Left-back, Malacia to compete with Luke Shaw. Probably eventually getting him out. Right-back's Darlow instead of Wan-Bissaka. He's now got rid of Fred and McTominay, and he's got Casemiro and Eriksen. So Fernandes looks better. Rashford looks better. How can you not look better when you're playing with Casemiro and Eriksen? So all the players are looking better because he's changed nearly the whole team, which needed to be done 4 years ago. But fair play to him.
Ten Hag is playing Shaw at centre-back now because he's planning for Barcelona when Martinez is suspended for the first leg, getting Shaw used to playing there ahead of the game so he's comfortable. That's from Agent 036. If you want to have a say in this conversation, 81089 is the message that you need to text in with, or you can tweet us at TS Breakfast.